3 days after the battle, Ambassador Li Yunwu walked into the Galactic Confederation Council chambers. The Great Hall was silent. No one laughed. No one spoke. Hundreds of alien representatives sat in their seats and stared at her with fear, anger, and confusion. Li was a small woman, but she carried herself like someone who had just won a war. Behind her walked 2 human guards in clean uniforms. Their weapons stayed in their holsters, but everyone in the room could see them. "Honored delegates," Li said in a clear voice. "I bring greetings from the Human Defense Force and the people of Earth." She placed a datapad on the central podium. "This contains the complete recording of yesterday's battle. I suggest you all watch it carefully." The Nexari representative, a crystal being whose voice usually sang like music, spoke in broken tones.
"Ambassador Li, our fleets."
"What have you done to our fleets?" "Your fleets attacked human ships and human colonies," Li replied calmly. "We defended ourselves. The results speak for themselves." She pressed a button on the datapad. The chamber's main screen activated, showing images from the battle. Alien ships exploding, railgun projectiles tearing through energy shields, human fighters swarming around massive battleships like insects killing giants. Many of the alien delegates looked away. Others covered their eyes. A few made sounds of grief or horror. "Impossible," whispered the Grokari delegate, a smaller version of Beast Lord Thrakmor. "Our ships had the best shields in the galaxy." "Your shields were designed to stop energy weapons," Li explained. "They were never tested against kinetic projectiles moving at relativistic speeds." She looked around the chamber. "Your military leaders made a critical error. They assumed all species would develop the same kind of technology. They were wrong." Fleet Admiral Zhang Wujin entered the chamber and walked to Li's side. He was an older man with gray hair and calm eyes. On his uniform, he wore the insignia of someone who had just commanded the greatest space battle in galactic history. "I am Fleet Admiral Zhang," he said to the assembled aliens. "Yesterday I commanded the human forces that destroyed your invasion fleet." A Vorthak delegate stood up, his 4 eyes blazing with rage. "You killed thousands of our people. This is an act of war against the entire Confederation." "No," Zhang replied quietly. "This was self-defense. Your war prime Velthara demanded the surrender of human colonies. When we refused, you attacked us. We simply fought back more effectively than you expected." He activated another section of the recording. This one showed the beginning of the battle, when alien ships had fired first on what they thought were helpless human vessels. "Your own records will show that the Confederation fleet opened fire first," Zhang continued. "Under galactic law, that makes this a defensive action by human forces." In a private medical bay on the human space station, Dr. Park Chan-ho examined one of the few alien survivors. This was War Prime Velthara herself, captured when her flagship was boarded by human marines. "Your injuries are healing well," Dr. Park told her as he checked her bandages. "You will recover completely." Velthara looked at him with confusion. "Why do you heal me?" "I came to destroy your people. In Grokari society, captured enemies are eaten." Dr. Park sat down in a chair beside her bed. "We are not Grokari. We do things differently." "I do not understand," Velthara said. "You defeated us completely. You could kill every one of my surviving crew members. Instead, you give us medical care in comfortable cells." "Because," Dr. Park explained patiently, "we want you to go back to your people and tell them what really happened here. We want them to understand that humans are not cruel or savage. We just defend ourselves very well." He pulled out a datapad and showed her technical diagrams. "Your species evolved from prey animals. You developed energy weapons because they could kill predators from a safe distance. Your whole military doctrine is based on avoiding close combat." Velthara studied the images. "And humans? Humans evolved as persistence hunters. We chased our prey for hours or days until it was too tired to fight. We learned to work in groups, to use tools, and to never give up. When we developed space travel, we brought those same instincts with us." The alien war prime was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "We made a terrible mistake. We thought you were weak because your technology looked primitive to us." "Your technology is very advanced," Dr. Park agreed, "but it is specialized. You have spent thousands of years perfecting energy weapons and energy shields. We spent our time learning to adapt and survive." Back in the council chambers, General Kim Sang-hee was explaining the new reality to the alien delegates. She was a tough woman who had spent 30 years planning for this moment. The Confederation controlled space because no one ever challenged your methods, she said. You all fought the same way with the same weapons following the same rules. She gestured to images of human ships on the main screen. Humans do not follow your rules. We fight to win using whatever methods work best. The Crystal Nixari delegates sang out in distress. What do you want from us? Surrender? Tribute? Slaves? None of those things, General Kim replied. We want what we have always wanted. Equal treatment. Full membership in the Confederation. The right to defend our colonies without being called criminals. She looked directly at each alien representative. Yesterday proved that humanity can defend itself. We would prefer to live in peace, but we are prepared for war if necessary. Ambassador Lee stepped forward again. The Confederation has a choice to make. You can treat humanity as an equal partner, or you can treat us as an enemy. Choose carefully. A month later, Captain Lee Daeho stood in a classroom on the human space station. In front of him sat 20 alien officers, including War Prime Velthara. They were here to learn human military tactics. Today we will study the use of kinetic weapons in space combat, Captain Lee began. The first lesson is simple. Energy shields cannot stop solid matter moving at high velocity. Velthara raised her hand. Captain Lee, how did humans develop such accurate targeting systems? Lee smiled. We learned from our ancestors who hunted with spears and arrows. If you miss your target, you go hungry. Over millions of years, humans became very good at hitting what we aim at. He activated a holographic display showing the battle. Your ships were designed for dueling other ships with energy weapons. Our ships were designed for pack hunting. We surrounded you, confused you, then attacked from multiple directions at once. An alien officer from the insect-like Sakari species clicked its mandibles nervously. Will you teach these methods to all Confederation species? If they ask nicely, Lee replied. And if they promise not to use them against human colonies. The classroom erupted in nervous laughter. It was a sound Captain Lee had never expected to hear from aliens. Just a month ago, they had been laughing at human ships. Now they were laughing at human jokes. Outside the station, human and alien ships worked together on joint patrol missions. The galaxy was learning a new way to keep peace. Not through fear and domination, but through mutual respect and understanding. The war was over. The real work of building trust had just begun. But for the first time in galactic history, no one was laughing at humanity anymore. Admiral Song Joong-ki watched the battle unfold from his command ship Iron Will. On his screens, alien vessels died one after another. Each railgun shot was like watching a giant invisible hammer smash through paper. Admiral, reported Commander Yu In-soo from the weapons station. First wave targets eliminated. Alien fleet is breaking formation. Song nodded grimly. The plan was working, but this was only the beginning. The aliens still had hundreds of ships left, enough to destroy every human colony if they regrouped and fought smart. Signal all stealth ships, Song ordered. Begin Phase 2. Throughout the asteroid field, Captain O.J. Min and 19 other stealth ship commanders received their orders. For weeks they had stayed hidden and silent. Now it was time to hunt. O activated his engines for the first time in hours. Silent Thunder came alive like a sleeping dragon opening its eyes. Around him, his crew worked with quiet efficiency. Targets acquired, whispered Petty Officer Nam Yu-jin. 3 alien cruisers range 8,000 kilometers. They are trying to escape the kill zone. Lock weapons, O commanded. Fire when ready. Human torpedoes were different from alien energy weapons. Where aliens used beams of light and plasma, humans used guided missiles packed with explosives. The torpedoes were smart, able to think and hunt on their own. Nam launched 6 torpedoes at the fleeing alien ships. The missiles streaked through space, dodging asteroids and debris. Their target sensors locked onto the alien engines, the weakest part of any ship. The first torpedo hit a Nexari cruiser in the engine room. The explosion tore through crystal armor like breaking glass. The beautiful ship, which had looked like a floating cathedral, cracked apart and went dark. On the alien command ship, War Prime Velthara tried desperately to understand what was happening. Her fleet was dying faster than she could count the losses. Report, she screamed at her officers. How are they doing this? Her tactical officer worked frantically at his controls. War Prime, the humans are using solid projectile weapons. Our shields cannot stop them, and now their stealth ships are attacking from multiple directions. Stealth ships? Velthara's 4 eyes widened. Impossible. Our sensors should detect any vessel. Not these ships, the officer replied. They use some kind of technology we have never seen. They appear from nowhere, fire, then disappear again. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Commander Shin Hyo-jung led her fighter squadron through the chaos of battle. Her small ship Lightning Strike was fast and nimble, built for hit-and-run attacks. "Ghost Squadron, this is Ghost Leader," she spoke into her radio. "We have multiple targets. Spread out and attack at will." Her 12 fighters scattered like a swarm of angry bees. Each pilot had trained for years for this moment. They knew exactly what to do. Shin spotted a massive Grokkery battleship trying to turn around and flee. The ship was 3 kilometers long and covered with weapons. In a normal fight, one shot from its main guns could destroy her fighter completely. But this was not a normal fight. "Ghost 7, Ghost 9, follow my lead," Shin commanded. "We are going after the big one." The 3 fighters dove toward the alien battleship from different angles. The ship's defensive guns tried to track them, but human fighters were too small and fast. Shin fired her torpedoes at point-blank range, then pulled away in a sharp turn that would have killed an alien pilot. Behind her, the explosives found their target. The battleship's main gun turret vanished in a ball of fire. Ghost 7 and Ghost 9 hit the ship's engine section at the same moment. The mighty Grokkery vessel shuddered, slowed, and began to drift helplessly through space. Deep in the battle zone, Master Sergeant An Gi-tai prepared for the most dangerous part of the human plan. His marine unit was packed into armored boarding pods ready to attack damaged alien ships. "Listen up, Marines," An spoke to his 20 soldiers over the radio. "The aliens have never fought boarding parties before. They do not know how to defend their ships against infantry attacks." The boarding pod launched from a hidden asteroid and streaked toward a crippled Vorthak cruiser. The alien ship was spinning slowly, its engines dead, its weapons offline. 30 seconds to impact," announced the pod pilot. "Hold on tight." The pod smashed through the alien ship's hull like a bullet through an egg. An and his Marines poured out into the alien corridor, weapons ready. The Vorthak aliens inside were not prepared for this kind of fight. They were trained for ship-to-ship combat, not close-quarters battle against armored soldiers in their own hallways. "Surrender," An shouted in the alien language. "Your ship is captured." The purple-skinned Vorthak warriors tried to fight back, but their energy pistols were designed for use against other aliens. Against human combat armor, the weapons were almost useless. In 15 minutes, An's Marines had control of the entire ship. The alien crew was locked in their own prison cells, and the vessel's computers were being downloaded by human technicians. Back on the main battlefield, the tide of war had completely turned. What had started as an alien attack had become a human slaughter. Commander Yu In-soo watched his tactical display with amazement. "Admiral Song, we have destroyed over half the alien fleet. The rest are trying to retreat." "Do not let them escape," Song replied coldly. "If even one ship makes it back to Confederation space, they will return with a larger fleet." The hidden railgun asteroids continued their deadly work. Each shot was perfectly aimed, calculated by computers that had studied alien ship designs for months. Every projectile found a vital target. On the bridge of her dying flagship, War Prime Velthara finally understood the truth. The humans had not been running away in fear. They had been leading the alien fleet into a carefully prepared trap. "How could we be so wrong?" she whispered to herself. Her science officer, bleeding from a head wound, looked up from his damaged console. "War Prime, the humans did not evolve the same way we did. We developed energy weapons because our ancestors were hunted by predators. We learned to fight from a distance." He coughed and continued, "But humans evolved as hunters. They learned to chase their prey, to trap it, to kill it with tools and teamwork. We should have studied them more carefully." Velthara looked at the tactical display. Her once mighty fleet was scattered and broken. Hundreds of ships were dead or dying. The few survivors were fleeing in panic. "Signal the fleet," she said quietly. "All ships that can still move, retreat immediately. Send a message to the Confederation Council. Tell them we have made a terrible mistake." But even as she gave the order, more human torpedoes were streaking toward her ship. The laughter that had filled the alien communication channels just hours before was now replaced by screams and calls for help. The galaxy was about to learn a new lesson. Never underestimate the species that learn to hunt by working together. Captain O. Jamian watched his instruments carefully. His ship Silent Thunder hung in space like a ghost. No lights, no engine heat, no radio signals. To alien sensors, he did not exist. Around him in the asteroid field, 20 more stealth ships waited in the same silence. They had been here for weeks, hidden among the rocks like sleeping predators. "Captain," whispered Petty Officer Nam Yu-jin from the weapons station, "alien fleet is entering the kill zone now." Oh nodded but said nothing. Sound did not matter in space, but old habits kept his crew quiet. They had trained for this moment for months. On his screen, he could see the alien ships spreading out through the asteroid field. They moved with confidence, their energy shields glowing bright blue and green. The largest ships were the size of small cities. The smallest were still 10 times bigger than O's destroyer. Beast Lord Thrackmore stood on his command bridge and breathed deeply. The air recycling system carried the scent of fear from the human ships ahead. His wolf-like nose could smell terror from thousands of kilometers away. "The humans have stopped running," reported his scanner operator. "They are forming some kind of defensive line near the center of the field." Thrackmore's yellow eyes lit up with hunger. "Finally, they will make a stand. I was getting bored chasing cowards." He activated the fleet communication system. "All ships, the prey has decided to fight. Form attack formation Beta. We will crush them against these rocks and feast on their bones." Across the alien fleet, thousands of warriors howled with excitement. This was what they had come for. Not a boring chase, but a real battle where they could show their strength. Warprime Velthara received the report on her flagship and felt pleased. The four-eyed alien commander had been hoping for this moment since the humans first entered space 50 years ago. "Excellent," she growled to her bridge crew. "Signal all Confederation ships. We attack in formation. Show these primitives how real warriors fight." Her tactical officer, a tall being with blue skin and 6 arms, manipulated his controls with fluid grace. "Warprime, the humans have perhaps 200 ships. We have over 800. This will be a massacre." "Good," Velthara replied, "but leave some alive. I want prisoners to take back to the Confederation Council. Let them see what happens to species that refuse to submit." Meanwhile, the crystal being Quinthus of the Ethereal Collective tried to read human minds from a distance. This was usually easy for her species. Most aliens had thoughts that glowed like bright lights in the darkness of space. But when she reached toward the human ships, she found something strange. The human minds felt quiet, almost empty. Not stupid or afraid, just focused. "Curious," she sang to herself in her musical voice. "These humans think differently than other species." She tried harder, pushing her psychic powers to their limit. For just a moment, she touched the mind of a human captain. What she found there made her crystal body ring like a bell. The human was not afraid. He was excited. Before she could warn anyone, Captain Lee Daeho's voice echoed across all communication channels. His transmission reached every ship in the asteroid field, both human and alien. "Attention, Confederation forces," Lee said. His voice was calm and steady. "This is your final chance to withdraw from human space. Leave now, and no one needs to die today." The alien response was immediate laughter. Beast Lord Thrackmore's howl of amusement could be heard over all the other voices. "Foolish human," Thrackmore roared. "You are surrounded and outnumbered 4-1. We have the finest weapons in the galaxy. Your metal-throwing ships cannot even scratch our shields." "You have been warned," Lee replied simply. Then the transmission ended. For a moment, space was quiet. The two fleets faced each other across several thousand kilometers of empty void and floating rocks. Human ships looked tiny compared to the massive alien vessels. Then Warprime Velthara gave the order that changed everything. "All ships, open fire." The alien fleet erupted in light. Hundreds of energy weapons fired at once. Plasma beams, particle cannons, and fusion bolts streaked across space like colorful lightning. The darkness between the asteroids became bright as day. The human ships took the first hits without fighting back. Alien energy beams punched through their armor like it was made of paper. Several human vessels exploded immediately. Others began to spin out of control, trailing fire and debris. "Yes," shouted Thrackmore as he watched human ships die. "See how they burn. Their primitive armor is useless against real weapons." But his celebration stopped when he noticed something odd. The human ships that were hit did not act like ships with crews inside them. They exploded too cleanly, burned too evenly. His scanner operator confirmed his suspicion. "My lord, those ships are showing no life signs. I think they are unmanned." Before Thrackmore could respond, the rocks around his fleet began to move. All through the asteroid field, massive stones that had been floating quietly for millions of years suddenly came alive. They spun on their axes, turned toward the alien ships. and revealed the weapons hidden inside them. Chief Warrant Officer Ryu Su-young sat deep inside one of these weapon asteroids and smiled as she activated her targeting computer. She was an electronic warfare specialist, trained to confuse and blind enemy sensors. But today she had a different job. "This is Control Rock 7 to all units," she announced calmly. "Targets are locked. All weapons are hot. Permission to fire?" Admiral Park's voice came back immediately. "Permission granted. Fire at will." 50 asteroids opened fire at the same time. The alien fleet had been expecting energy weapons. Their shields were designed to stop plasma beams and particle bolts. They were not designed to stop chunks of metal moving at 10% the speed of light. The first railgun projectile hit Beast Lord Thrackmore's flagship in the engine section. The solid tungsten rod, moving faster than anything the aliens had ever seen, punched through energy shields like they were not there. It passed completely through the ship and came out the other side, leaving a perfectly round hole 5 meters wide. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the blood feast broke in half and exploded. Across the alien fleet, similar impacts began occurring every few seconds. Railgun projectiles slammed into ship after ship with devastating effect. Alien vessels that had ruled space for centuries were torn apart by simple metal rods moving very fast. "Impossible," screamed Velthara as she watched her fleet being destroyed. "No primitive kinetic weapon should penetrate our shields." Her science officer, a small gray being with large black eyes, worked frantically at his console. "WarPrime, their projectiles are moving at relativistic speeds. Our shields cannot deflect solid matter at that velocity." The trap had been sprung. The hunt had become a slaughter, and the laughter of the alien fleet had died in the cold vacuum of space. Lieutenant Kang Minho pressed his ship close to the asteroid's surface. His scout vessel Quickstrike was small and fast, built for hiding and running. Around him, space was full of floating rocks, each one bigger than a city. "Control, this is Scout 7, he whispered into his microphone. "The big ugly ships are coming." They looked very happy. From his hidden position, Kang could see the alien fleet advancing through space. Their ships were enormous. Some looked like floating cities made of metal and crystal. Others moved like giant sea creatures with glowing tentacles. All of them pulsed with energy weapons. "Copy that, Scout 7, came the reply from Commander Kim back on the flagship. "Remember, you are a scared little mouse. Run when they see you," Kang smiled. He had been practicing being scared for weeks. It was harder than it looked. The lead alien ship was massive. Kang had seen pictures of it before. This was the Blood Feast, flagship of Beast Lord Thrackmore of the Grokari Horde. The Grokari looked like giant wolves that walked on 2 legs. They loved hunting and fighting more than anything else. On his scanner, Kang saw the alien ship turn toward him. They had found him. "Scout vessel," came a rough voice over the radio. Kang recognized the growling tone of a Grokari warrior. "You are alone and far from your fleet. Surrender now and we will kill you quickly." Kang made his voice shake with fear. "Please don't hurt me. I'm just a scout. I don't have any weapons." Alien laughter filled the radio channel. "Run, little human. Run back to your motherships. Tell them the hunt has begun." Kang fired his engines and shot away from the asteroid. Behind him, 3 alien fighters gave chase. They were faster than his ship, but Kang knew these rocks better than anyone. He had been flying through this field for months. He dove between 2 spinning asteroids, then rolled under a third. The alien fighters followed, but they had to slow down to avoid crashing. Kang's ship was built for this kind of flying. Their ships were built for open space battles. "Control, they are following the path," Kang reported as he led the aliens deeper into the field. "The big fish is taking the bait." All around the asteroid field, other human scouts were doing the same thing. Lieutenant Nam Yuri led 6 alien ships through the northern passage. Petty Officer Park Dong-soo guided a Nexari cruiser through the eastern rocks. Each scout ship ran away just fast enough to keep the aliens interested, but not fast enough to escape. On the alien command ship, Beast Lord Thrackmore watched the hunt with pleasure. He was 3 meters tall and covered in gray fur. His yellow eyes glowed with excitement. "The humans scatter like prey animals," he growled to his officers. "Look how they run from us. This is not war. This is pest control." His tactical officer, a younger Grokari named Vektar, studied the scanner display. "My lord, should we not be more careful? These asteroids could hide traps." Thrackmore backhanded the younger warrior, sending him across the bridge. "Coward, what traps could these weak humans set?" Their ships run at the first sight of us. From his position on the bridge floor, Vektar wiped blood from his mouth but said nothing more. Meanwhile, deep inside one of the larger asteroids, Sergeant Major Lim Hei-wan checked her equipment one more time. She was a Marine, trained for boarding enemy ships and fighting in tight spaces. Her squad of 20 soldiers waited in their assault pods, ready for something no alien had ever seen. "Remember," she told her team, "aliens have never fought Marines before. They don't know what we can do. When we board their ships, they will panic." Engineer Han Byung-soo worked frantically at a control panel built into the asteroid's core. Around him, massive machines hummed with power. These machines had been secret for 6 months. The aliens thought the humans were just mining rocks. They had no idea what was really happening. "Sergeant Major," Han called out, "the mass driver is ready. We can turn this whole rock into a missile whenever you give the word." Lim nodded. "Wait for the signal. We need them all in position first." Back in space, Kang was still running from his alien pursuers. His ship dodged between asteroids like a fish swimming through coral. The aliens followed, growing more confident with each passing minute. "This is too easy," one alien pilot said over the radio. "These humans are pathetic." "When we catch him, I want to eat his liver," another replied. Kang made his voice sound even more frightened. "Please leave me alone. I just want to go home." The aliens laughed harder. They were having so much fun. They did not notice they were being led exactly where the humans wanted them to go. On the main alien flagship, Communications Officer Zilandra of the Crystal Nexari species sang out in her musical voice, "Warprime Velthara, the human fleet continues its retreat. They are moving toward the inner system. Our forces report no resistance." Velthara's 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Excellent. The humans know they cannot win. They run like smart prey." She activated the fleet-wide communication system. "All ships, this is Warprime Velthara. The humans have shown their true nature. They are cowards who will not fight. Pursue them to their homeworlds. Let them see what happens to species that defy the Confederation." Across the alien fleet, thousands of warriors cheered. They had expected a battle, but this was even better. The humans had given up without firing a shot. But 50,000 kilometers away, hidden behind a large asteroid, Medic Seo Yoon-ji listened to the alien transmissions and smiled. She was no longer just a medic. For this mission, she had trained as a combat engineer. Her job was to make sure the aliens could not escape what was coming. She checked her detonator one more time. All around the asteroid field, similar devices waited. When the signal came, they would turn floating rocks into guided missiles moving at incredible speed. "This is Medic 7 to all stations," she reported quietly. "The aliens are in position. All primary targets are within the kill zone." From the human flagship, Admiral Park's voice came back calm and steady. "Copy that, Medic 7. All units prepare for Phase 2. The hunt is about to become a harvest." The alien fleet continued forward, chasing the fleeing humans deeper into the trap. Their commanders talked and laughed, already planning victory celebrations. They had no idea that in a few hours many of them would be dead. Above them, below them, and all around them, hidden human forces waited. The asteroids themselves had become weapons. The empty space between them crawled with invisible sensors and targeting systems. The aliens thought they were the hunters. Soon they would learn they were the prey. Captain Lee Dae-ho stood on the bridge of the Indomitable Spirit and watched the stars. His ship floated in empty space, waiting. The metal walls around him hummed with power. Everything was ready. On the main screen, alien ships moved like bright dots against the black. There were hundreds of them, maybe thousands. Lee had never seen so many enemy vessels in one place. "Captain," said Yoon Ji-hee from her station. She was young, but her voice stayed steady. "We're getting another message from the Confederation Council." "Put it through," Lee said. The screen changed. An alien face appeared. It had 4 eyes and skin like purple leather. This was Velthara, the war prime of the Vorthak Empire. Lee had seen her before in diplomatic meetings. She always looked angry. "Human captain," Velthara said. Her voice was deep and rough. "Your people have 1 day to surrender your colonies. After that, we will take them by force." Behind her, other aliens laughed. Lee could see them on the bridge of their ship. One looked like a giant insect made of crystal. Another had tentacles instead of arms. They all thought this was funny. "Your ships are slow," said the crystal being. This was Jalandra of the Nexari. Your weapons are weak. You throw metal rocks like children throwing stones. More laughter came from the alien ships. Lee kept his face calm, but inside he felt anger growing. We have ruled space for 3,000 years, Velthera continued. You humans have been flying between stars for only 50 years. You are babies trying to fight adults. The transmission ended. The bridge became quiet. Lee looked around at his crew. They all had the same expression. They were tired of being treated like fools. Orders from Admiral Park, sir, said Commander Kim Tae-woo. He read from his screen. All human ships are to begin immediate withdrawal from the outer colonies. Make it look real, Lee nodded. He had expected this. The plan was already in motion. 3 hours earlier, Admiral Park So-jin had stood in the war room deep inside the human space station. The room was full of officers, engineers, and scientists. Maps of space covered the walls. Red dots showed alien positions. Blue dots showed human ships. They think we are weak, Admiral Park said. She was small, but her voice carried power. They think our ships are garbage. They think our weapons cannot hurt them. Dr. Choi Min-ah raised her hand. She was the chief weapons engineer. Admiral, their energy shields can stop most attacks, but they have never faced our new railguns. Explain, Park said. Choi stood up. Alien ships use energy weapons. Plasma cannons, particle beams, things like that. Their shields work great against energy, but our railguns shoot solid metal at incredible speed. Their shields were not made for that. An officer in the back spoke up. But Admiral, they have more ships, much more. Even if our weapons work, we cannot win a straight fight. Park smiled. Who said anything about a straight fight? She pressed a button. The wall screen showed a star map. Look at how they are moving. They advance in a straight line. They expect us to run away or surrender. They do not expect us to fight smart. Commander Kim Tae-woo studied the map. You want to use the Meridian asteroid field. Exactly, Park said. For 6 months, our mining ships have been working there. The aliens think we were just digging for metals. They do not know what we really built. The room became very quiet. Everyone knew about the secret project, but few knew the details. Show them, Park told Choi. Choi activated another screen. It showed technical drawings of asteroids. But these asteroids had been changed. They had engines, guidance systems, and massive railguns built inside them. We turned 50 asteroids into weapons, Choi explained. Each one can fire metal projectiles at 10% the speed of light. The aliens will not see them coming until it is too late. But they still have more ships, another officer said. Numbers do not matter if the enemy cannot hit you, Park replied. Our ships are smaller and faster. Their big ships were built for energy weapon battles. They are not ready for kinetic warfare. Park looked around the room. The aliens think they know everything about war. They have fought the same way for thousands of years. Energy weapons, energy shields, big slow ships that trade beam fire. They have never seen anything like what we are going to do. She pressed another button. The screen showed human ship designs. They looked different from alien vessels. Where alien ships were smooth and elegant, human ships were angular and covered with armor. They laugh at our ships, Park continued. They say we build them like ancient battleships. They are right. We did learn from battleships. But battleships won wars for a reason. An hour later, Captain Lee received his orders. Make the withdrawal look real. Let the aliens think they had won before the fighting even started. Now, on the bridge of the indomitable spirit, Lee gave the order. All ships begin withdrawal pattern Alpha. Make it look like we are scared. The human fleet started to move. Ships turned away from the advancing aliens and headed for the outer system. On alien communication channels, Lee could hear the laughter continuing. Look at them run, said one alien voice. Cowards, said another. They will not even try to fight. Lee switched to a private channel with his officers. Maintain the performance. Let them think they have already won. Yoon Ji-hai monitored the alien transmissions. Captain, they are sending messages to their home worlds. They are calling this a great victory. Good, Lee said. The more confident they feel, the less careful they will be. On the tactical display, Lee watched the alien fleet spread out. They were no longer in tight formation. They thought the danger was over. Commander Kim studied his instruments. Sir, they are following the exact route we predicted. They will reach the Meridian field in 18 hours. Perfect, Lee said. Signal the fleet. Operation Hammer begins in 16 hours. As the human ships continued their fake retreat, Lee thought about what was coming. The aliens had ruled space for so long, they had forgotten what real war looked like. They fought according to rules and traditions. They expected their enemies to do the same, but humans did not follow alien rules. Humans adapted, humans survived, and soon, the galaxy would learn why that mattered. The stars watched silently as two fleets moved toward their destiny. One fleet laughed and celebrated their easy victory. The other fleet prepared to show them how wrong they were. In 18 hours, everything would change.